All right. Good morning, all of you. And thank you, Dr. Amardev, for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to interact with various technical persons in different colleges and universities. This topic that we will be discussing today is the industry involvement in terms of the training and placement activities. And this topic is quite apt in the sense that, as you know, that since India adopted the LPG, that is liberalization, privatization, and globalization, we have been steadily growing at the rate of 7 to 9 to roughly 10% as such. So rather, India is one of the 2, 3 economies of this world which has actually grown from 7% onwards during the last 20 years. So this with this many positives have come out as such, and uh, the best being that more employment opportunities have been created, more industries have been done. Then it has even reduced certain poverty also to some extent. Uh, the spillover effect of this GDP growth is that the Indian industry now needs a lot of technical manpower, and as such, technical manpower has become quite short in this country. So, which has led, to put a lot of stress on the technical education. This stress coming up and with the opening up of the various sectors of the economy, the private sector has also come up in the areas of education in the as an industry. And as such, we there was a study which said that we need lots of private universities and lot of universities and colleges as such for higher education, so as to fulfill the needs of the industry. And the government, which was earlier the only body which was into colleges, universities, and there were some aided colleges also and direct colleges also, and plus a few universities also. So after this the study report, the government allowed the private sector to come up with technical education colleges and even universities as such. The idea was that the government do not have so much resources on their command and at their disposal, so that they can come up at trumps in terms of the technical education and other education as part. So private sector comes up as a partner in progress. So what happened during the last roughly 15 years or so, that lot of private institutions came up in this country, and I would say that there was mushrooming growth as such. AICT being the body which was providing guidance, and which was providing affiliations to such colleges. So these mushroomed throughout the country, and even in some parts of the country, the approval of universities also had become so easier that at one point of time even the Supreme Court had to come intervene and say that you should have some measures and you should have some reforms and you should have set up some technical parameters wherein the approval for universities could be given. Let it not be a degree selling or a degree buying shop as such. So after that things have improved, and I think still there is a need for a education regulator, which unfortunately UGC, and we have different regulators, still a lot of things to be done. Now the problem then, now I'll be linking with my topic as such. See this with this mushrooming of education, what has happened is that quality has become an issue. Neither the colleges that have come up, they are qualitative, nor the students who are getting admissions, they are qualitative in nature. So with this, what has happened is that there's a lot of gap and there's a lot of differences or disparity between what the students are, what the students we are sending outside the college, and what the industry demands as such. So lot of mismatch, lot of demand supply gap, and lot of problems out there. See, that's the reason why we have to discuss and deliberate such a topic. This is a very hot topic as such, because as a parent or as a father or as a brother or even as a student, while we are looking at a university or a college for admission, what comes to our mind is that what is the placement record of this university, this college. And even as a parent who's putting up his hard-earned money into the education of the kid, the first thing that comes to our mind is that what is the cost benefit analysis? What will be the expectations, or what is the chances that if we get this technical education, tomorrow we'll be getting a good job, or whatever money is being spent on this. And many a times the fees are so high that the students and the parents, they have to take loan. So maybe that is also therein, that whether once you pass out, you will be able to clear that loan, you will be able to service that debt that you have already taken. So that is a big issue as such. And with these expectations of students and parents have increased, and the colleges also, some of the colleges, they have taken heed to this. And you will find that even in private sector, while we are talking about government and they are established from 50, 60, 70 years, they have themselves established, and now some of them are the best in the country, like we are talking about IITs and some NITs also, then institutions like Indian Institute of Sciences, ISER. So they have established IIMs into the management domain. Some RECs which were re-christened as NITs, they are doing well. But if we are talking about private sector, they are herein for last 8 years, 10 years, 12 years. And out of them also, a few have developed as such, and who have put in a lot of emphasis on the quality part. So therein the question is that it is a vicious circle, meaning thereby that since the admissions are, available very easily. Earlier, the admissions were not available easily. Only the bright students, they got admissions. And since the bright student got admission, they were polished in the institutes, or maybe they were polished to some extent. Some rough edges were brushed up. Some rough edges were, polished, and they came out with a finished product. And then they got the jobs. But now what has happened is that these students who roughly may be getting even 50%, they are, because of the demand supply gap, there are more number of seats, less number of students. So with somebody who's a 50% student and is eligible to apply and eligible to get admission in an engineering college, gets admission into an engineering college as such, not so very difficult. So once he gets inside, naturally, since he's an average student or a below average student, and mind you, the colleges also are of not to such an extent that they could polish these kind of students. So they are not polished, and since they are not polished, then the output also is not so very good, and the placements suffer. The placements suffer at the end of the 4 years, or they are doing MBA at the end of 2 years. So therefore, this becomes a vicious circle for the management of the institutions also, that since placements are not so very good, admissions again will not so be very good. The quality of students again will come up to be not so very good. So what has happened is that because of this vicious circle, the input is not so very good, the polishing is not so very good, and output also is not so very good. Then again, the input is not so very good. So somehow, those institutions who have defied or who have come up trumps with this vicious circle, they have been able to do well, even in the private sector, even in the government sector. But majority of them, they have not been able to do well. So that is the reason why, we have to talk today about the placements or the training or at that part. And mind you, while you talk to somebody who's into this domain, now I've put in around 20, 22 years into this domain. If you try to speak to somebody, see, we focus only on the output. But the problem is that nobody is willing to focus on the process. Nobody is willing to focus on the inputs. So, and everybody wants to focus ki haan bhai, placement kitni hai? What is the placement? What kind of placements have been made? What is the average salary? What is the highest salary? Which companies came to the campus? And even the management people who are the heads, we see the deans and all of these people, or even the, the owners as such of the institutions, they'll talk about, and even if they get some employees, they'll talk about ki haan bhai, kitni companies aap le aoge? How many companies will visit the campus? How many people will be placed? Not understanding that do the students of my college have the capability to firstly get inside a company? Is my curriculum relevant? All these questions, they need to be asked and answered, because placement in itself is an output, but it is not an output. It is a process. If you do your process well, placement is not a problem. Institutions like IITs, ISER, ISC, IMs, it is the reverse. The companies are competing amongst themselves to go to IITs, to go to IMs to get the students. And mind you, students are deciding whether I'll sit for this campus, I'll not sit for this campus. It is the other way around. And in some colleges, and there is grading of colleges, grade A, grade B, grade C. And now if we talk about grade C colleges, therein you are hand holding, you are cajoling the industry to come to the campus. कि भाई आ जाओ please, ये कर देंगे. Malpractices also. You come to us. And one point of side, you see, the students are saying, oh, we'll not sit. While I was at ICFI Business School, I worked at Hyderabad and Mohali. While I was at ICFI and we were discussing, because this was one institution which was very much in tune with what the industry demands. So we were discussing with ICIC. Top bosses were there and I was also there. They said that we have stopped visiting IMs. The reason was that once they went to IMs and the student never sat for the campus. They say we now will not visit IMs. Rather, we are trying to come out to those institutions which are good in nature, but which are not so very rosy, so that students come up, they attend the campus, and they are retained also. So that other way side is therein. I hope I'm clear in my comments that because of the demand and supply gap, if the student quality is very good, companies are after him. If the student quality is not so good, the student and the company and the student and the institution is after the companies, which they'll not take eventually. So what is the idea which makes a campus a very good campus in terms of placement, and which makes a campus not so very good, and which makes a campus, the last resort, and how they grade things as such, grade A, grade B, grade C. See, at the end of the day, it is the need fulfillment of the industry through the students, which is very important. If the industry thinks, if the company thinks that, oh, here is a student who, if enrolled, who, if recruited, can increase the, the bottom lines and the top lines of the company, or do the things very well, he is always welcome. And if it is not so, then he is rejected at all the quarters. That is the major issue. That is what demand and supply is, and this is an irony also, in the sense. So now the question is that this kind of presentation will not be very much required into those institutions which I am talking about, IITs, IMs, ISC, because therein they've already reached that level wherein they are now rejecting the companies. But this will be very much relevant to certain group B, group C institutions, which have to improve themselves, and which have to come up with ideas of how to do it. And there are certain institutions which do not have any ideas of what to do it. They are just into teaching as such, teaching like a degree as such. So that explains, and I think you would have also heard, it was in the news, that people who are qualified to the extent of MTech, people who are qualified to the extent of PhDs, there was a recruitment drive in Uttar Pradesh, another 4, 5, 6 months back, and the post was of a somebody who's a what you call the sweeper, or who's to get the sewage out. And it was shown in the TV that those people, and there was a test for that you have to bring the sewage out of the drains and all. People who were MTechs and all, they applied for this job. I'm not saying any job is good or bad, but yes, if I am a doctor, then I have to do justice to what my education is. I have to do something into the doctor line. If I am an engineer, I put in 4 years, and MTech has put in, I think, 6 years into this. So he has to do something in terms of this line. If I am a management graduate, I should do something in this line. So that is that if I have got a degree, but I'm not able to use that degree, because these are all experiential things. These are all practical things. It is just like, maybe most of you drive. I also drive, you also drive. And if somebody asks you, what is the theory of driving, I think most of us will not be able to give us what is the theory of driving. But if somebody just gives us a key, okay, drive, and we'll be able to drive. So that is what is a practical orientation of a course which is practical in nature. Whether he is a polytechnic or he is a degree holder or he is a management graduate, he is a doctor, he should be able to do things which is more important. Degree is just a matter of a preference, just to know that okay, he has done it, that's all. Vice versa will not be true. If he has a degree, he is not able to perform, he will be a failure. So I think that is a mismatch between what is happening. We are as such, I think, focusing on the degree part, not focusing on the experiential learning part, and that is the problem. Now, because see, that is, if you just see the slide, there's an urgent need of industry academia collaboration. Now, who is our stakeholder? Who is our client? Client at the end of the day is the industry. So what we have to do, we have to come out with anything that is relevant to the industry will sell. If it is not relevant to the industry, it may not sell. So therefore, it is an urgent need that the academia collaborate with the industry to come up with what the industry needs. And if they are able to do it, then they have not to run off the industry to okay, ठीक है, आप हमारे placement करा लीजिए जी, you come to our campus, job fair में आ जाए, then there will not be a problem. And then they'll have the same kind of a status that the IITs and the IIMs have. Now, coming on to this, so there is an urgent need. What I am saying is that every department, every university, every college should focus on the deliverables. Deliverable here is a degree, but more deliverable is that what you learn out of the degree. You have passed the paper, fine. But what you can do practically to pass the paper. Let's say if you're a commerce graduate and you do not know what is a share, you do not know how the people transact in a share market, you do not know what is an NFO, you do not know what is an IPO. See, you are out of the market. You cannot advise that which mutual fund is better. You cannot advise on investment decision. You are out. You may have passed the paper, nothing. You cannot draw a balance sheet. You are out. Similarly, if he was a technical graduate, you should be practically knowing how to build up an app. Today it is a matter of apps. You should be knowing what is the software, hardware. You should be knowing how you come up with certain softwares. You should be knowing what is GIS. You should be knowing all these things because they are practical orientation level. If we are dealing with C++ and today is the time of Oracle, see, I am afraid we are out of sync. We have to see what the people are using, what it is being used, so that tomorrow they are in tune with what is the industry demanding. So that's a big problem. So now the question is that while we come on to this urgent need for sensitizing the students, the universities, the colleges on these issues, sensitizing academicians as such that okay, we are academicians, we are here, but our job is to transform the raw talent that we have into some kind of a product which then sells into the market. So what has to be done is that you have to make the student self-aware. Even if you are taking a student and he is a 50%, if you think he is not good so enough, please don't take him. But once you have taken him, then it is your duty to finish that product within 4 years or within 2 years time that you have taken a student. It is the duty of the college, the university, to come out with such system, procedures, methods, so that this product which is at 50% now goes on to 60, 70%, depending on, somebody will go on 80, 90 also. This is the steam that the student has. Then they have to be provided various opportunity in terms of career exploration, and then they have to be given opportunities in terms of job placements also. I'm not saying that it is the job of the college to provide him job. No, it is the job of the college to fine tune his thinking and his wavelength to the industry, to prepare him and finish him to the role of the industry, and then to provide him an enabling environment wherein there are 3-4 companies and he is selected out of 3-4. He should be good enough for one of the companies. So what should be done? So I would say, like I said, it is not that the placement should start at the end of the 4 year. No, it should start from day one. You should have a strategy of doing it. So what you should do throughout, you should hone the skills of the student. If he is 50% and you have taken him, you cannot say, oh, ye to average bachcha tha, nikla nahi. No, it is not his failure. It is the failure of the college. Don't take him otherwise. It is hard-earned money which is being involved. You have to prepare him. Then technical knowledge has to be done because there will be technical round. Soft skills, life skills, there will be a GD round, there will be an interview round. And how you can do it would be in terms of lot of industry interaction. Placement as a process which should be manned by the students. And even some of the students, they should be given a seeding of what is entrepreneurship. They should be seeded, because maybe some kind of an average student may be a very good entrepreneur. You have good examples out here. Maybe Bill Gates, maybe here in local, like, if you see Arun Grover, Amartex, Bharti, Mittal. See, they were not the toppers. They were not even professionally qualified, but still they have made the best of the entrepreneurs. So even that seeding can be given depending upon. So the idea is, I was talking about the irony part. On one hand side, the industry is growing at 8 to 10%, meaning thereby you need to have lots of technical, because the capacities are being added. On the other side, students are not getting the jobs. The big irony. And if the way I interact with very industrialists also, see, they are always complaining, we do not get good candidates. On other hand side, colleges are also complaining. We had 250 students, 10 are placed, no one is placed, 20 are placed. This is a big question mark. This is a big irony on the other side. That now what has to be done by the management is that on the demand side, you have to study what the industry demands. On the supply side, you have to prepare the students. If this demand and this supply meets, see, then there is no problem. Each student should get more than one job. And I think it is a possibility. Once upon a time, if the student is good enough, and it will not only also depend upon the grading. If the student is good enough, I did my MBA from Kurukshetra University. Today, my batchmates, I came into education, but those people who were into the industry, today my batchmates, they are the chief executive officers, they are the CEOs. And we were, mind you, we were grade C. We were group C management college. And today, my friends, my batchmates, they are the heads of Somani Industries, they are the heads of Videocon, they are the heads of Hyundai and Northern region, and multiple people from the group A institutions like IIMs are working under them. So the degree is just a tag. It is a tag and a platform to give you that kind of platform, and then you have to take off. Even I've seen that people from IIMs have not been able to take off, and people from group C, group B, even NITs, they have been able to take off at a later stage, and even those people, they are working under them. That's a possibility. Even in engineering, you could see. You will not find many IIT names in this country, but you will find names from NITs. People like Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, not an IITian. I'm not saying IIT is not good. IIT is very good. But you will find people who had streams, even from normal colleges, doing very well, because degree is just a platform. I say this. So we have to address this irony. Now, what to do? These are certain milestones, I think, which every institution should talk about. Every institution should start prior to taking the students in their colleges. They should have this vision very clear. Now, what are these milestones? According to me, they should develop an industry relevant curriculum. If they are in university, it's not a problem. अगर वो खुद यूनिवर्सिटी है तो उसको कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, वो अपने आप अपना सारा करिकुलम डेवलप कर सकते हैं. But yes, if they are not an university, they are an affiliated colleges, then they have to have a tie-up with the state technical education department or the university. Let's say if you are under Kurukshetra University or Punjab University or Punjabi University, then I don't think this is all written in stone. This can be written in sand. You have just to justify that, okay, this happens. I give you an example. I was Dean School of Management Studies, but the university, I was into management side. We had the engineering side. It's one of the better universities in Himachal. See, the vice chancellor and the management deemed it fit that they developed a program, because Baddi comes up as an industrial hub. You have a lot of pharmaceutical companies there. Along with Abbott, which has a plant therein, they came up with a product that Abbott sponsored few candidates into the university who were attending classes for 2 days, 3 days a week, and 2-3 days they were into the industry. They were doing their jobs, and later on the curriculum was developed in such a way that they were able to complete their curriculum also. They sat for examination also, and they got their degrees also. So with this, the placement issue was over. And in another thing, there were certain students whom, after being interviewed, they were taken as a part of Abbott. It was an industry academia partnership, and two days they were attending Abbott, 3-4 days they were into the university. So they had, some kind of a raw talent which they could shape in the 4 years to time. Students were getting stipend to the tune of 15-20,000 from Abbott. Their, the fee and everything was being taken care of, and they were assured that once they pass out from here, that they would be taken in Abbott. Similarly, for my own department, what we did was that after the third semester, we invited placements and all. Though we started with the day one, we had all these process that I'm talking about. In the third semester, we allowed certain candidates who to attend they became a part of the certain companies, wherein 2-3 days they were going there, and then they were coming to the campus just to attend very important classes or evening classes we had organized for them. Idea was that they, in any case, they have to go to the industry. If they get a good industry exposure today in the fourth semester, and in fourth semester, see, even 3-4 months, and they are getting 10-15,000, which is not so very big for the industry, but for a student, getting 10-15,000 while you are studying is a big part. That means your one semester fees is paid off. So we did it, and later on, there's no problem in terms of the placement as such. Second very important milestone, I would say, is that you have to have a training and internship, which is very much a part of the curriculum. But what unfortunately happens is that people do not actually go as into the companies. They request somebody to give you a certificate. They are actually not worked on this. Last year reports, 2, 3, 5 years, 10 years reports are taken from the library, and they are, in toto, they are copied, and not so very good. Yes, I'm not saying everybody does it, but majority of the people, especially in our, university setup and all, they do it like this. Rather, what has happened is that you have wasted your, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months into this, and what you should, because it has a relevance. Training and internship has a relevance in the sense that whatever theory has been provided to you in the 2 semesters or 3 semesters, now it is the time to see that if the theory is actually working into the practical domain, or you can come up with other things also. This is one very important aspect that you learn. The company learns that, okay, this is somebody from a good institution, he is a good guy, and tomorrow, many of them, they get a pre-placement offer that, okay, tomorrow if you want, you can join us. That is one thing. Then it adds upon the links between the industry and the college or the university, that they can do certain things together. Plus, I give you an example of ICFI only, how we were doing it. They had a wonderful system of summer trainings. After 2 semesters, it was a 3 months training program that every student needs to be done. And what was doing was that every student was under a mentor, which was a faculty mentor, and secondly, an industry mentor. Let's say one of your student who's doing management is placed or gets a call from the Bharti Airtel, all right? And he is doing his training program. He is doing his internship, let's say, in the field of marketing management. If I am a marketing faculty or I am a finance faculty, domain-wise it is divided, then the student is given to me, and I am the mentor. I am the mentor in terms of the faculty. There will be somebody who's supervising this gentleman or the student while he is at Bharti Airtel therein. So he becomes the industry mentor. There are 2 mentors. Then the reporting part is so very clear that how your 3 months have been divided. There is an initial report, then there is a synopsis, then there is the content part, then there is a draft report, there is a final report. There is a milestones. In these 5 milestones, the students have to be interactive with the faculty. That means your faculty mentor, he has to be interactive with the industry mentor. And based on both, rather, see, the marks given to the student will be by both of these. While he comes up with a final report, and in his final presentation, both of them will be present. See how come this, if you see the system, it has been knitted and woven in such a manner that the student, cannot avoid summer training, even if he wants to, because there are 2 people who are monitoring. And at the end, see, 3 months have been divided into 5 cycles, wherein he have to come up with various issues in terms of initial report, then the content part, then the draft report, then the final report, and everything has to be done in such a manner. So he has to be very, attentive. He has to be on his guard, and he does work. Plus, the faculty mentor has to visit the student. Let's say he is doing this management program from Chandigarh, but his training is at Gurugram or Gurgaon or Faridabad. The faculty mentor will visit the student at Gurugram twice during these 3 months and give his report to the management that I met so such and such person. This is what has been done and all. Now, how it is useful? What is happening is that because of the interaction of the student and the faculty with the industry personnel, who may be the HRD head, or who may be the management head, or who may be the marketing head or finance head, the institute is also coming close to the industry. They are knowing that they are serious in business. The faculty who's going therein, see, he is also developing links with them. Tomorrow, this pre-placement offer, this summer internship will be definitely converted into a pre-placement offer. And this has happened. This has happened. Plus, one more thing that was very important was that most of the trainings that we were doing, they were paid trainings. Generally, if you say so, now I think we are into engineering colleges, and I have heard many relatives, friends and all, that they pay some amount to the training institutions to provide them trainings. I am saying the reverse. The industry was paying stipend to the tune of 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 to give training to our students. One of my students who did, rather he was not our student actually, he was the student of ICFAI Hyderabad, that is the main. But since he was doing training here in Trident, so he was posted here, and I was the one who was looking after him. I was the industry faculty mentor. You would be surprised to know that in the year 2007, for this 2007, that means roughly 10 years back, 3 months training that he did there, he got stipend to the tune of 80,000 for 3 months. Would you believe? From Trident, summer training, Trident paid him 80,000 rupees. Now, you see, if you tell this to somebody, where does the institution go? Where does the ranking of the institution go? So you have not to fight for admissions if the students are like this and the industry like this. And later on, he got a pre-placement offer also. He did a good job there. So my idea is that this is very, very, very important. It has to be woven in the system that nobody can avoid it. And it is a good opportunity for the teachers, the faculty, and to the institution to have a good linkage with the industry. Then other is the industrial visits, very important. See, we are teaching somebody, mechanical engineering, we are teaching him electronics engineering, and it is all on paper. But the best is seeing is believing. Taste of pudding is in eating it. If we do not take him, we are into textile machinery, and he does not know what is a CNC machine. What are these? So we have to take them to industrial visits. It is a big plus for the student, because once he sees how the industry is working, there's a big as such setup is there in the people are doing. There are different departments. Somebody is into spinning, somebody is into weaving, somebody is into dyeing, somebody is into ready-made garments, somebody is into electronics, somebody is into telecommunication. How departments are going on, and for industry, it is good. Because see, they come to know about you, they come to know about your campus, and they come to know that you exist. Some good students may ask good questions, they'll be interested. Later on, it comes up with a linkage. You can call these people to your campus. You can call them not for job placement, but for maybe interaction as such. So it builds up relationship. Then the students, mind you, all students, they would not like to go for placements directly. You have to provide them guidance in terms of what is higher study. Let's say you are teaching BTech. So maybe some of them would like to go for MTech. So you have to advise the student that, okay, what are the good MTech colleges available? What subjects he should take? Which ones are good in terms of placements? Which are the good colleges? Which is the fee structure? So all these guidance, should be given by the institution or the college or the university. Then we have the campus placement. When we are talking about campus placements as such, this is also very, very, very important, and it is not done in a day. you have to have a plan initially, which I'll discuss right now. I'm just discussing basics here, then I'll come on to some. So you have to have a detailed database of what organizations are. Let's say you are into mechanical engineering, so you should know what are the companies available who recruit people who are mechanical engineers. You are into electronics, you should know which are the companies who recruit electrical engineers, electronic engineers, whether they are government bodies or they are private bodies or they are multinational companies. They should be in India or they should be outside, or what else these people can do so that they are actually relevant to the jobs that they're in. And then you have things like, yellow pages are there in today. All these companies, they are on the website. So if you have the data as such, then some meetings can be done and as such. So overall, you should plan things. Rather, there should be a different department which can plan. And these employers or these companies, they need to be working directly from day one. While the student comes there to you, while you have, the list of the students, which are the streams are there in, what is my students all about, what are their strengths and weaknesses. Then they have to work on both sides. One side, the faculty side should work on the strengths and the weaknesses of the students so as to make them industry ready. And those people who are into the training placement side, they should be working in terms of bringing companies into the campus so that their students can be placed. Then, and how can this happen is by close and continuous interaction with these industrialists or these executives, or as such should be there. And see, while you talk about campus placements, so while you invite them, then you have to take care of them and provide them all the various facilities which are there. And not to forget, today there's a lot of scope of overseas placements also. SAARC countries, then you have countries nearby to us, Maldives, Mauritius, Singapore, all these countries. And people, there are some skills which are relevant in New Zealand, Australia, Canada, even USA, even certain African countries also. So we have to take care, we have to know that is therein, and those students who are interested, they can be pursued, and they can be sensitized, and they can be given information, knowledge, and so that they can pursue those careers as such. Then certain workshops, seminars for training and all, they can also be organized. Idea is to sensitize the students on various issues. What are the do's, don'ts? Like I was giving you a practical example of ICFI, we used to do it. How they should, what should be the etiquette while they are into the industry, how they should interact, how they should write a report. All these things, I mean, we have to give them the guide. I mean, the problem is, I have seen into academics being now so that we keep on cribbing on the various issues कि ये नहीं होता, ये नहीं होता, ये नहीं होता, but हमको भी सीधा रास्ता भी नहीं हम ज़्यादातर दिखाते. हम ये बोलते रहते हैं अंधेरा है, लेकिन दिया जलाने की कोशिश नहीं करते. It is always there most of the times. So rather than focusing on the negatives and the outputs, I think if we focus, and those people who have focused, they have come out trumps. Those institutions that have focused, they have come out with trumps. Many institutions I know, they didn't had much in terms of infrastructure also, but they were very much focused on these aspects. And see, today they're doing very well. Because at the end of the day, कोई स्टूडेंट आपकी बिल्डिंग खरीदने नहीं आया. एक डिसेंट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बिल्डिंग चाहिए. वो बहुत फ्लैशी ना भी हो तो कोई ज्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ता. लेकिन हाँ, बट वी हैव टू वर्क अपॉन द HRD पार्ट. We have to work on the skills part. We have to work on the knowledge part, and faculty part. Faculty is very, very, very important because all the inputs have to be given by the faculty. So if we recruit good faculty, if we pay them well, if we know they have good skills, see, at the end of the day, this will be transformed into passionate people who have ownership. This is also a very big problem. I keep on visiting as it. I see there is no ownership. Government sector, people stay put because they come into that zone. Private sector, there is no ownership, or there is very little ownership in terms of faculty as such. And maybe even if they get 2,000, 3,000 extra, they'll move out. So the institutions as such should devise policies wherein to retain good faculty members also, because at the end of the day, everything has to be done by the faculty, and you have to then match the profiles of the students with the industrial needs, give them feedback, give them backing, give them the structure enabling part, so that they to go. And if you have 2-3 companies, they sit, I think it will not be it will not be a problem that they come out trumps in one company. Then one more very important part, which good universities, good colleges are doing, but others are missing, is the alumni part. Alumni is your gold. Alumni is your diamond. Alumni who have passed out from you now over a period of 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, they have reached the leadership positions. So if you can tap your alumni, because, and you know very well, you are also alumni of some institutions, your alma mater. See, you become so nostalgic about your stay therein. You tend to be emotional, and you tend to, you tend to help and support your institutions. If they tap it, see, a lot many problem can be solved from this aspect. The idea is that you should know where are the alumni, which companies they are working. Your data bank should be there. In every year, at least once a year, you should organize certain kinds of alumni meets, wherein alumni come and they have an interaction. The local alumni who are doing well, they can be frequently contacted. They can come up with research proposals. They can come up with interaction with the students. They can come up with their own experiences. And some of them who are in good position, like I'm saying that my friends who were my batchmates, now they are into chief executive, chief operating officer. So at least what they can do is they can have a campus. That's all. हाँ, ये नहीं मैं कहूँगा कि वो दे गो ऑन अगेंस्ट द मेरिट पार्ट, पर इतना तो जरूर करवा सकते हैं कि कैंपस इस लेवल पे पहुंच के, कैंपस में तो कंपनी भेज ही सकते हैं. They can always request the HR to just see that also, because you as the head represent that institution, whether it is a Kurukshetra University or a Punjab or Punjabi. And since you have reached the headship over a period of 10, 15, 20 years, it is a known fact that since you have reached that level, the students are bound to be good. So therefore, this can be done and this can be tapped. This is a virtual gold mine that all older institutions would be having. Only they have to tap this aspect. Then one more thing that all colleges, universities can do is to organize a career fair or a job fair. This is quite bulky in nature and difficult to organize. But yes, it's a good admission drive also. It's a good branding drive also. It's a good promotional drive also. And if you can organize wherein number of companies can come up as such, and the people from different colleges can come up as such, and to your campus, the parents will be coming to you, and I think to the owners also, if they can do it, though it's a little difficult. If you can do it, see, this is very good for the companies that in one, let's say they don't have to go to different campuses. Let's say if you have a campus in Chandigarh and there are 15 colleges herein, the related students from all 15 colleges can come to one campus. Their time is not wasted. The companies have to come once. They have a pool of students wherein to find out, wherein to select. And for the students also, for the college also, this increases their eyeballs, because students from different colleges are coming, their parents are coming. वो बोलते हैं कि देखो ये कॉलेज जॉब फेयर करवा रहा है, आपके कॉलेज ने तो नहीं करवाया, तो आपका जो कॉलेज है, जो ये वाला कॉलेज है, उसकी स्टैंडिंग अप हो गई. Tomorrow, let's say they have a younger brother or a sister or a nephew or a cousin or a friend who says, oh, I have to do an engineering college. They say, you did it from this college. You say, no, please don't go into this college because they don't organize placement drives. आप इस कॉलेज में जाइए, वहां पर मैंने प्लेसमेंट ड्राइव किया था और मैं प्लेस भी हो गया. So it is a win-win situation for the college, and now many of the colleges they have started doing. We did it. I did it twice while I was in one of the colleges under Kurukshetra University. The college, though it just come up, but we did. I did it. More than 15 companies were invited. They came up, and we had students from this college was nearby Ambala, but we had people coming from Rohtak, from Karnal, from Panipat, from Chandigarh, from and it was such a brand promotion for the college as such that we have been able to, we did it, I did it twice rather. And see, each company, they took 2, 3, 4 people. So at the end of the day, not necessarily from my college, not necessarily, though I think 4, 5, 6 people from our college were selected, but overall around 70 to 80 people were selected. So which is a good domain. This can be done as such. Then you should have, like I was talking initially, that certain youth entrepreneurship education also, because people who may not be very good in terms of, let's say, they may not make very good scientists, but yes, they can make good entrepreneurs. Basic IQ, tendency to work hard, and focus on money. If you have these three things, so then you can become a good entrepreneur. And maybe sometimes your idea works, and then this idea is developed, and people start entrepreneurship. I remember while again at ICFI, I'll give you two instances. First instance I'll give you at ICFI, because since this was a management college, every year while I took my classes, though entrepreneurship education was not my stress subject, but since we had 50% marks which were internal in nature, what I used to do was, out of these 50% marks, 30% I kept for tests, so that they are prepared for the final examination, various time period. 20% I kept for certain, experiential learning tools. Out of this, one tool that I always used was to ask the students to prepare a business project. Every year I used to do it. I just gave them, I think initially I started with 1 month's time, wherein I asked them to bring out a business project. Business project means a business plan, wherein you have to have a company, a name, how it will be registered, what will be the marketing domain, what will be the finance domain, from where will the money come from, what will be the balance sheet, total, complete, some kind of a pro forma I used to give it to them, and then ask the students to come out with a business plan. This was 10 marks. And this gave me a lot of ideas. Why I used to do it? This gave me lots of ideas that what students are thinking about. And basic idea was to germinate a seed in them, so that tomorrow, if they are not being placed, or if they want, they can go into entrepreneurship also. Because entrepreneurship is very noble. You become a job giver rather than a job seeker. And even a small entrepreneur who's running a small shop, he's giving jobs to maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 people, rather than going and begging for a job himself. So that was the spirit. And I remember one very difficult child of mine, my student. I kept on telling him, most of the students, they submitted their reports. This was 1 year, submitted their reports after 15 days, 20 days, somebody 25 days. This gentleman, I asked after 30 days, the 30-day time period is over. Only this gentleman was there, and I'm not remembering the name, I think Ankit. He said, where's your report? He said, sir, maine to kiya nahi hai. So I asked him, why have you not done? This is 10 marks. Kehta, sir, maine karna hi nahi hai kaam. I don't want to be an entrepreneur. So I said, why? He says, I want to go for a job. My entire family is in job. I would like to go for a job. I would like to go for this position. So, but I said, this is just an assignment. You do it. I've given you the pro forma. I'll further give you maybe 5 days, 7 days. Abhi tak nahi kiya, koi baat nahi. Abhi time hai. Aap kar lo. After 7 days, I called him. He said, nahi sir, main nahi karta. I will not do. So I said, lose marks, 10 marks, 0. He said, give me 0. Par main karunga nahi. Okay. Okay. I said, all right, so I'll give you marks, but maybe you don't want to do it, but you do it for me. I put it like this. See, I don't want to give you 0. You're a good student. Your marks will suffer. Your credits will suffer. And you don't want to do it. I don't say you do it, because majority will not do it. It is just a thing. All right. So he said, okay, sir, I'll do it for you. He was a good student. 3-4 days he came up, and he came up with the report. I still remember that was, he said, that was a franchisee of Cafe Coffee Day. Good enough. Many people had done it, others also in their ideas and all. So, and it was a good report. It was worked out. He done his homework and got good, I think 7-8 marks he got also. Then one day, I mean, because see, you have around 300-400 students, they keep on going, new students keep on coming. You also know as teachers, we are not tracking our students as such. But somehow, no, after 3-4 years, I happened to meet this gentleman while in one of the meetings, and otherwise while I was there, I didn't know he is also coming. And then he said, oh, sir, pehchan liya. I said, why not? Because you are interacting with the student. You say, okay, Ankit, what are you doing? He said, sir, I am an entrepreneur now. See, this student who was so reluctant even to get inside it, who was not willing to who was not even willing to spell E of entrepreneurship. And after 3 4 they said, I did a job, I was not satisfied. Then he said, I changed 2 3 times, then I found out not my cup of tea. Now I am doing my own job. And I think out of all those 60 students that I had, he and maybe one or two more were the only ones who went into entrepreneurship. And this guy who was very much against entrepreneurship. This is one instance I am talking about. Secondly, at another college, while I was there, we used to organize business plan competitions. I used to do it because this business plan competition, they just had here also technical fest. And therein also they had a business, knitter also they had a business plan competition. See why this is done. IIMs does it every year. IIM Ahmedabad does it. Other does it. Even Reliance Industries Limited, they are interested. There's a prize also from their end to the best student who gives you the best report, and that becomes a patent and copyright of Reliance Industries. So every college has started doing it. We also did it. Now, how we did it? We did it first at the level of our college. Let's say MBA final year students, MBA juniors. So they were asked to come out with a business plan given 15 days time, and then there was a competition. The reports were submitted, they were evaluated, they were given a presentation. Out of them, the best were selected and they got prizes. This was at the college level. Then after having good success, we did it at the inter-college level, wherein people from different colleges students were coming out. So this was one of my students therein. After third semester, I allowed the students to go for interviews. Campus interviews, Group C, as you know, all these Group C institutions, people will not like to come to your campus. And even if you have links and all this, aap hamare paas bhej dijiye. Or maybe the students are sensitized. They started seeing Ascent, they started seeing job market opportunities, Naukri.com and all. So they can get certain calls also. So one of my students out there, she came up, and this was third semester passed. They were into fourth semester, just 15 days, 1 month passed. She said, sir, ye muh mitha kijiye. So I said, what happened? I think her name was Suman. What happened? She said, I got a job in one of the publishing houses in the NCR region. I said, she had informed me that you selected, yes. Now I said, I was not very confident that she'll be selected because I knew the student. I knew what are her shortcomings, what are her pluses, minuses. And I knew that since this is an interview which is based on the calls from the newspaper, the competition will be quite tough. And they are into NCR, and NCR has many colleges. And who are, in terms of soft skills, they are much better. So I was not very confident, but she got selected. See, I said, see, how did you get selected? She said, sir, I was asked a question. Rather, the majority of the people were asked a question that what is a business plan? All right. So I said, you answered. He said, I participated in that competition. Then what happened? He said, majority of the students who came up, they didn't know what is a business plan. They were, prepared about their what is there in the textbooks. Then because she had participated and she had not won also, she had participated in that business plan competition. And then she said one of the panel member asked me, to bring out a business plan on a piece of paper. She said, I had already done it and I did it in front of them. They gave me 15-20 minutes, I did it. And she was the one who got selected with one more other candidate. See, this is the idea. I was, really impressed. And I thought that, okay, the story, the theory that we are following up comes up with good results. And those people, those NCR region institutions, maybe they are nearer and all, but then they may not have envisioned that this may also be a part, because somebody who's on other side of the table into HR or the other part, he is not much involved into what is your theory goes. He is much involved as an experiential partner. He knows what is happening into the industry. He knows what is the latest trend because he's reading newspapers, he's reading journals. So the questions that will be asked will be also into that domain as such. So if we prepare the student into that domain, it is much a better chance that the student will be quite successful. So after having said all this, now what modus operandi I should recommend and suggest of industry academy partnership, though I've given certain inputs and some of them will be repeated also. First thing, you should start from day one. If you have taken a candidate, it is the duty of the college to now prepare the candidate. Whatever. You should have a specific training and a placement cell. If we think we can leave it to the faculty members who are taking 3-4 classes every day, this will be a non-starter. Faculty should be involved into the process, but a training and a placement cell is more of a marketing activity, wherein you should have a good marketing personnel, having good contacts into the industry, being a head. Maybe he should have 2-3 more people also who are willing to travel. And you should have a faculty coordinator also who is a part of the training and a placement cell committee. Because reason is, because without his linkage, the marketing people would not know what is electrical engineering, what is electronics engineer, what are the new domains coming up. And if he goes to the industry and if somebody asks him that what are you teaching, what, he'll be blank. So therefore you need to have 2 or 3 or 1 good people who are from the domain side also. So it has to be a collaborative effort between the people from the domain side and people from the marketing side, and they have to fulfill each other's role well so that this will be done. And then practically, because I was while at Baddi University, they had a separate training and a placement cell. They had a separate dean for that. Unfortunately, during the time period I joined there, their dean left, dean training and placement. So I doubled up as a dean training placement also during that time period, having knowledge of this entire process at ICFI. So during these 7 months, I worked with because they have already worked. I was fortunate or unfortunate to deliver for 6 to 7 months were only remaining as such. So we formulated a strategy as such, wherein it is a collaborative effort between the marketing people, the domain specialists, the teachers, and thirdly is the students. Now one would ask that why students are required. Can anybody tell? आप बता सकते? भी students को क्यों लेना चाहिए? मैं कह रहा हूँ कि you should have a collaborative effort between the marketing people, the domain experts, the teachers, and thirdly the students. My question is, somebody can ask, why students? Students को क्यों ले? उनको क्या पता? क्या होती है placement? Why should you take them? But it is advisable to take them. We took them, and it comes up very good, very, very, very good. Can anybody tell? Why should we take students? क्यों लेना चाहिए students को? Yeah, how do you do it? Do you do it in your colleges? आप करते? Do you have a training placement cell in your college? So you know how you do it? All right. See, why we should have why we should have the students is that because the students are the stakeholders. Students are the stakeholders. Students have a lot of energy in them. They can visit. They can go places. And the experience that they have in terms of meeting people, going there and representing yourself, it is the experience which is required. This will help them into job interviews. This will help them into group discussions, and this will help them to take the future roles. So if everything has to be done, it is just like internship. You devise the practical strategies, you know how to do it, and then you ask the students to actually go and execute it. So if the students are a part of the team, students are a part of it, they would, let's say, if they know that they have to visit somebody like, let's say, the head of Bharti Airtel here in this region, northern region. So you've given him a letter. He knows how to go there. First he sends up a card or his name. Then he may ask him to wait for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 1 hour. This is very much required to put in that kind of a sensitivity to the student as such, so that he knows how things happen in the industrial setup. It is just not like a piece of cake in front of you and you just go and eat. No. And the more they are made to work, the more they'll be grooming. Like I gave you a very practical example of somebody who did a business plan competition. They did it well. And while in the interview, good luck, she was asked the same question. She provided it on a piece of paper, and those people from good institutions, were very good institutions, were not selected. And I would say that from our group C institution, she got selected. Because industry does not need tags. Why they are going to tags this? Because IIT is a brand. In IIT, if there are 600 students, every 600 student may not be of the same quality that number 1 or number 600. Maybe in some NIETs, number 1 of NIET number 1 could be as good as a good as a student of IIT number 10. So, and industry is not interested into this. Industry goes therein because that has become a brand. It is easier for them, will not waste their resources. But if you have people who come from others also and who can prove themselves, who have a lot of fire in their belly, so they'll be selected. So that is why students should be involved into everything. आप कुछ भी करो, स्टूडेंट्स को जरूर साथ लेके आओ, उनकी टीम होनी चाहिए, हर एक चीज के अंदर उसमें होना चाहिए. So idea, then you have to set up this cell, then prepare the students from day one. How do you prepare them? Technical skills, life skills, and clubs. Now, how did I do it while I was there? I knew, see, we went backwards. पीछे चले. पीछे कैसे चले? What will the company ask from the students? That means, what is the process of getting somebody recruited? There is generally a written test, that is a technical test. Generally, I'm talking about. Somebody can go overboard also. This is followed by a group discussion. Lastly is a personal interview. So that means you are judged on 3 parameters. Firstly, the technical skills. Technical skills are your objective type questions, wherein they give you a test, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 1 hour. You come out, there's a cutoff. Those people who pass out that cutoff are selected for the next round. Next round is a GD round. GD is group discussion. And those who are selected here, they come up for the final interview. 3 चीजें होगी. We started preparing the students on the 3 counts. Firstly, I asked the faculty, since I was not from the engineering domain, I'm from management domain, though I've done BSc earlier. I asked the teachers to prepare me multiple set of questions for electrical engineering, electronics, computers, ऐसे multiple करा के. Took time, organize these people into groups. All right. एक बच्चे को 5, 10 पेपर करवा दिए. That was the time I was available to me. See, if somebody does 10 papers, 10 paper means if each paper has 1 hour paper, 40, 50 questions, 10 papers with 500 questions. It is highly probable that whatever paper they set, 50, out of these 50, 25, 30 questions will be there in what we had set. Do you agree with me? मानते कि नहीं आप इस बात को? अगर मैंने उनको 500 क्वेश्चन करा दिए इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग के, वहां उन्होंने एक ही पेपर देना है, उसमें 50-60 क्वेश्चन आएंगे, तो मैं कह सकता हूं क्योंकि जो टीचर्स हैं हम लोगों के पास, वो जो फाइनल पेपर देंगे कम से कम उनके 50 में से 25-30 क्वेश्चन तो अपने वाले ही आने वाले हैं. एंड द स्टूडेंट इज कॉन्फिडेंट. आफ्टर अटेंडिंग 10 mock papers, he is confident that it is not like, oh, somebody does not know swimming and you just put him in water. He already has gone into into the beach for 10 times. Now it will not be very difficult for me. ये करवा दिया. Then I organize these people into group discussion groups. Placed the teachers. I was not into everybody, though I was walking and seeing how things are going on. And mind you, initially nobody spoke. Even in management, when we gave them very simple topics, love marriage versus arranged marriage, apps today or brick and mortar, dowry, terrorism, very small topic, nothing technical about it, so that कि बोले तो सही भाई, वो बोला ही नहीं. बहुत सारे ग्रुप्स में फिर हल्के हल्के शुरू हुआ, ऐसे 5, 10 ये करा दी. अब वो इतने होने लग गए कि बोलने लग गए. And then we changed the groups also. Lastly, we did mock interviews. I mean, we formed panels, 2 to 3 teachers in every panel, 10 लोग, और धड़ाधड़ उसको wholesale. You're going one panel, you're going to the other panel. So every student attends 4 or 5 interviews. Then these companies came. That was already some work done by my predecessor, plus the team that they had already promised and all. So when they came up, we were able to place quite a few students. So this was what we did it as such, and we were able to get good results. And one more thing that I encouraged was the visiting faculty from the industry, week wise, month wise, doing programs, doing like the business placement, job, career fairs. Idea is that you have to be grabbing the eyeballs of the industry. उनको बुलाते रहिए बार बार. And while you go then for the placement, they'll recognize you. That's all. अगर आप सीधा जाएं at the end of the year और उनको कहिए कि जी हमारे तो see, you tell them that we have these number of students and we are under this university and all, they'll not be interested. You have to be involved. You have to see what's your take on this, then come out in terms with this. So thank you so much. This is what I wanted to say. Then there's a small caselet also, which I have given, which will be circulated to you. Ma'am will do it. Hard copy I've given, soft copy can be given to that. All right. So thanks a lot. Any questions?